Welcome to Sessions Health's tutorials.
Hello, fellow therapists. I'm Ian, a practicing psychotherapist, and I use Sessions Health in my practice each day. In this tutorial, we're going to look at custom forms, which is a really important feature and one that we get a lot of questions about. To get started, click on Forms and Documents. Once you're here, you'll see two tabs, one for My Forms and one for System Forms. System forms give you access to all of our default content. We have different screenings and assessments. We have a diagnostic assessment available. If you want to preview any of these, you can just click the preview button and it'll show you what all goes into any of these system forms. If you want to add a system form to My Forms, you would just click the Add button. So we're going to add the diagnostic assessment so that it's available to us. Now it's been added. We can add an intake interview. We can also add, we're going to add how about a SOAP note? And you can also add questionnaires. So questionnaires are forms that you can send to get information from your clients that maybe they're not screenings or assessments. Maybe it's session feedback in this case, or some other general type of questionnaire. We're going to add it as well. And now that we've added some system forms, we can go to My Forms. And there's additional forms that we can add from here. But first, let's take a look and see the diagnostic assessment that we added is here. The intake interview that we added is here. The SOAP note form that we added is here. And the session feedback that we added is here. You're seeing two here because I had actually already added session feedback to my account. So when I added the system form, now I have two. We're going to customize one of these, so that's okay. If we want to add a consent form, we can either start with a blank consent form, or we can select from some of our system consent forms, such as practice policies, where you'll see a default text that's available to you that you can edit that as much as you wish. We're going to save that one. Let's go ahead and add privacy practices. I'm not going to add that right now. We're going to add an informed consent. So now we've also added some consent forms. And again, if we want to customize these at any time, we can just click Edit, and we can come in and change anything that we want to suit ourselves. If we want to customize any of the system forms that we added, we can also do that. So if I click Diagnostic Assessment, now I'm in the Edit mode, and I'm seeing all of the forms that are part of the diagnostic assessment, and I can change any of the wording by editing it. In this case, this is a standard input. I could change this to some other type of form element. I could change the label. I can add instructions. I can make it not required. I can change anything that I want with that system form now that it's part of My Forms and make it my own. I'm not going to change anything to this right now. I just want to show the capabilities. So we're going to go back to My Forms. And what we are going to do, we're going to customize one of these session feedback forms. The reason I selected this, I want you to be able to see our Likert scale question form. So with this, you can add your own Likert scale to any form. You'll give a label. You can add any instructions that'll show up above the field. For here, we're just going to put select one. These are the statements that will appear as part of this Likert scale question. Maybe you want to add a statement to your session feedback. The 2 default questions are listed. We're going to add another statement. And this one will be, I feel like therapy is working. Now that statement has been added, and you can see the measurements that we have are 4 basic agreement measurements. If we wanted to add a measurement, we could do that here. We can also import from common measurements that are standard Likert scale measurements. So I'm going to save that. So now we have a customized session feedback form where we've added an additional statement to our Likert scale. So now when we preview it, we can see our session feedback form. We can see here's the statement and then the instructions that we added. And we can see our 3 statements with the additional one that we customized. I feel like therapy is working, and the clients will be able to select from any of our 4 measurements. If we want to customize any other part of our forms, we can also do that. So for example, if we want to customize our SOAP note, we can click on that now, and we can add a new element. The types of elements that we have are standard input texts. You have a date field, a numeric field, yes and no answers, single choice, multiple choice, drop downs. We just looked at Likert scales, range sliders. We also have some formatting elements that we can add. For this one, we're just going to add a date field, and this will be date of service. This is already logged as part of the note, so this one might not be a practical one in purpose, but I do just want to show how you can customize any of the default note forms to make it your own. Enter a date, make it required. And now with each of our notes, in addition to our content fields, we're also going to be able to enter a date of service. So now we've customized our notes. We can also create our own forms from scratch. Anytime we want to do that, for example, we can just click the add button. And if we want to start with a new blank form, we can do that. And we could assign this intake form to new clients by default if we wanted to. And now I'm in the edit mode, and I can just start adding elements. So I might want to add a section header that just says my intake form. I can save that. I can start previewing it at any time just to see what it's going to look like. And I can continue to add elements. Maybe this one will be, let's make this one numeric, and this one will be age. Say enter age. We'll make it required. Preview this. Now we can see our intake form is starting to take shape, and this will only accept numeric values. So I have to enter age. Now I can continue building this out however I want to. So for example, I can do a yes, no. Have you done therapy before? Select yes or no. Make it required. Now we're going to preview this, and now we can see that's part of our form as well. Our forms are drag and drop, so if I want to change the order, I can just select a question and drag it to where I want it to be in the form. And now when I preview it, we can see the order is changed. And now I can continue to customize my form and build it out however I want using any of the forms that are available. We can also add a multiple choice label. This element, this multiple choice element, will be a checkbox that says, do any of these symptoms apply? And then we can say select as many as are relevant. We'll add an option. We'll say depression. We'll add another option. Say anxiety. Add another option. We'll say imposter syndrome. If, for example, we want a client to be able to add additional information, if they select one of these, we can click this and it'll prompt them for more information. We can also customize this label if we want. We'll also make this one required. So now when I preview my form, I can see we have our previous questions, and now we also can let them select from these options. And notice when I selected these, nothing happened, but when I select anxiety, now I'm going to be prompted to provide additional information. I have social anxiety. Please help. So this concludes our custom forms tutorial. As you can see, our custom forms feature is quite powerful, quite flexible. We provide you a lot of default content that you can customize, and we also give you the ability to create as many custom forms as you want, however you want, with the types of form elements that are required to make a robust form. As always, if you have questions, you can reach out to us at support@sessionshealth.com.